to mid-August in A Year Gardening. Well, supposedly we were going to have some big storms and lots of rain, but we've had just a couple of millimetres. Friends of mine down the road had 4 or 5 hours of solid rain, only 5 miles away, but we had next to nothing here. And I'll show you the state of the ground. I'll get my water meter out and we'll show you just how dry things are. But in this little show I've got a few things for you, some water saving tips for planting. We're going to be taking the brown stems off of the buddleia in order to encourage more pollinators through into the garden, and just a couple of other tidying jobs and a catch up for mid-month. So welcome to mid-August in A Year Gardening. Everything is still dry, and when we were expecting all of this rain, I put out a great big 80-litre container to collect some additional rainwater. I'm just going to tip it on here. I'll show you how much I collected. Here's the container and here's the water. About a pint, and that's all the rain we've actually had. And seriously, that equates probably to around about 4 or 5 millimetres of rain. Now I have got my moisture sensor here, and where I've just tipped that water, I'm going to put the moisture sensor and we'll see what it reads. Make sure that it is set to moisture, because this does light and pH as well. But it's set on moisture, and we need to put that into the ground if we can get it in. And there it is in the ground. Even after I've put that water on the ground, that's still reading dry. So I do ask myself, what am I actually going to do to keep a really pretty looking garden if we're going to go through these extremes? And I've been looking at some plants. Now I've got some palmate type plants here which are doing very, very well. Also I was thinking about maybe getting some grasses and replacing some of the flowering plants with grasses to give some character and style. So I'm going to now be building up a list of the plants that I'm going to be putting in. I think the geraniums in here, which have really suffered somewhat, I will lift those, use some of them into the shrub border in the front garden, and have in our seating area some nice grasses with the roses, because the roses have still done very, very well. So that's just a thought, and I'll update you on that in the September show. I think it's time to also show you one other little water saving idea that I have had and is working. Well, whilst I'm deadheading these, just a little water saving tip for you. Now, I've put these little pots, which normally hang on the side here, on a microfiber cloth. This will soak up the rain as much as the plants will, but also for the little holes in the bottom of the pots. Via capillary reaction, they'll soak water up into the pots and help them be fed. Nice. and we can clean these up whilst I've got them down off of the wall, and they will go back up. Yeah, good. These are all good. Nice new buds coming through on here. A little bit of tidying up on the little fuchsia here, but generally these are looking rather pleasant this summer. Well, the plants are hanging up again, dead-headed. Lovely buds coming on here, and they're going to give me plenty more flowers for the rest of this summer. So I'm going to take you down the garden now, and we're going to be moving the jasmine out of the pot into a hole that I've dug ready for it to grow up the arch, and I'll show you how I do that now. Well, as you can see, this beautiful jasmine is setting off some lovely growth, and it's time to take it out of the pot and put it down onto the rose arch at the bottom of the garden. Now, on one side we have got the honeysuckle growing up, and I think this will make a wonderful complement to the other side. They can grow together and give us that beautiful evening scent of honeysuckle and jasmine. Nothing could be better. So let's go down. I've already dug a little hole. I want to see if it's going to be big enough, and if not, then we'll enlarge the hole, we'll get that in the ground, and we'll plant that ready to grow for many, many years to come. Well, I've dug a hole here for this lovely jasmine. Now this is about 14 inches deep and 12 inches or 300 mil across, slightly square, which will allow the roots to dig out, and there's a little bit of a weed in there. Now the problem I'm going to have is how big is the root on there, because I don't know. So I'm going to take out these canes from the jasmine, and then I'm going to just loosen the pot by just shaking it and see if I can lift from the base of the plant the root, and it's quite a solid lump. So we'll I think we'll get the fork on that and see if we can see if we can lift this out, gently teasing it from the pot. Now this will be a challenge. So holding on to the base of the plant and levering with the fork. Right, here she comes. And I'm just going to shake off some of the excess compost from around here. Now this looks like I haven't got a big enough hole, but we will see in a moment. Right, let's have a little look in here. Well, actually, that doesn't fit in too badly. Not too badly at all. Now we've got this growth here, and I really want that to be able to come up here. So I'll just turn that around a little. Okay, so that's pretty good. Not too bad at all. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the compost from this pot, and I'm going to fill just around here, just nice and gently. Into the ground around here, push that in. Now I've got some of the soil that I've taken out of the hole here. Put that on. Now what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to get a can of water, water this in very, very intensely. Then I'm going to put some compost over the top to hold that moisture in, And then we'll start looking at training these up onto the arch and just tie them in with a little bit of string. But I'm sure they're going to look absolutely beautiful and the scent will be amazing. Fantastic. Just a very good drink now. I have to watch this because the ground is on a slope. The water will run away slightly. So I need to make sure the water is going to the plant, down into that lovely hole that we dug, and soaking down rather than running away. So while that water soaks down into the ground, I'm going to go and get some compost just to cover that. Well, I've placed the compost around the top, and that's just going to hold the moisture in, and now I'm going to water again over that. That will act like a sponge and take the water down into the roots of the plant. We don't want it to be too upset. Now what I've got to do is I've got to bring this just around this arch here, and if I need to, I will add some string just to bring it up. We've got another one just over this side here, so if I bring that through the top, that will start to spread itself towards the fence, and we can grow this up and over. These grasses, they're growing through here, still got some tidying to do. And this one here is from the old clematis, which we can take off, and then the clematis can come onto this arch as well, which is going to be rather pleasant. A little bit of wire around here, we'll just remove that, and then we can tidy the whole thing up. And I'm sure this is going to look absolutely beautiful next year, and the scent is going to be absolutely superb. So what we'll do is we'll just bring the clematis around here. We're going to tidy this a little bit, but they will enjoy themselves together, and they'll grow up this side of the arch. Happy days. Well, the buddleia is a great source for our pollinators. However, at this time of year, some of the heads start to turn brown while others are in full flower. And the great thing is, if we remove the brown heads, we'll get more of the lovely flower heads coming through. So I just come back, clear those. This one's nearly finished, so we'll take that off. And you can see we've got more flower heads to come through here. And I will keep clearing those, pop those into the wheelbarrow. We've got some more down here. And we can keep clearing them all through, clearing this brown off and allowing the beautiful new flowers to grow through for our pollinators to come through for months to come. And I'm sure that is going to look absolutely fantastic. And we'll see all of these beautiful butterflies, bees, hoverflies coming round the plant over the next couple of months. Well, that brings me to the end of this little mid-month show for August. Now, I am working rather hard on getting the show ready for the end of the month, and we've got quite a few bits and pieces to show you in that one as well. So I hope you've enjoyed what I've done today, the bits and pieces that I've shown you. Got a little surprise to show you in the front garden next time, which even I didn't realise what I had there, but that's quite a little bonus. Now we've got the bits and pieces sorted out in the garden here. The middle mound is cut down. I'm still cleaning up the plants that have not lived through the drought very well. However, we are still dry. We've had a little bit of rain, but we're still dry. And I'm getting ready on a sheet of paper the plants that I'm going to be putting in, which will tolerate extreme dry and then a wet winter. But if they don't get the wet winter, they will still live through. So I'm going to be making quite a few changes to the planting scheme in the garden to adapt to the new climate. However, I hope you've enjoyed what we've done today, and I'm just going to say for now it's goodbye, but I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time, start of September, and I'll just say stay safe, be kind to each other, and with a small glass of beer, cheers. Happy gardening.